Growing up as a kid, I always thought to myself, how would it feel like to be inside of a tornado? But that thought was always scary because, man, tornadoes are a force of nature that can barely be stopped or halted. And as a kid, I kept on thinking, it'd be crazy to even be inside the belly of a tornado. And this movie Twisters that just released this month, it kind of shows us the first glance, the first point of view of being inside a tornado. And I'm gonna say this right now, this movie has a lot of deaths. Well, you should obviously expect that because it's a movie about people chasing tornadoes and trying to either prevent it or to capture it. But they have surprisingly a lot of deaths, and a lot of the deaths are actually vicious because the movie starts off with like 3 deaths already, because we see the main character Kate with her boyfriend and her friends and another character named Javier. And Kate, she has this like college project where she has to do a study of like tornadoes and how to stop it with these 6 canisters of, I forgot the substance that is inside these canisters, but these canisters, they are supposed to like help prevent the tornado from becoming too intense. So as they're really trying to do this experiment and do this project, you know, they're having fun at first, but that fun quickly turns into nightmare because soon, man, the tornado is too intense. I think it's like an F5. It completely is destroying everything. So they now have to run down like this drain that's under a bridge to try to like get cover and grab onto something. But one of their friends, I forgot the woman's name, she gets like completely sucked into the tornado, and she gets hit. Like as she gets sucked, she gets hit by debris. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And the other friend, I forgot his name, but he was trying to hold on, but he was like the first one to die, to be honest. Then the tornado just like sucked him up, you know what I mean? Then at first I thought the boyfriend will be, you know, surviving as well, but I ain't gonna lie, I was pretty shocked when I saw that the boyfriend, as he was holding on to Kate and Kate was holding on to like this metal ledge, the boyfriend got sucked too, and he got hit as well by some debris. It was like kind of gruesome, just like the fact of being sucked into a tornado and you don't know where you're gonna land, you don't know what is gonna happen, you don't even know if you can even suffocate inside a tornado before you land, you know what I mean? So that was pretty crazy. But Javier, he wasn't with these guys because their project was like he was supposed to be standing back and like doing the data stuff. So when that happened 5 years later, and we see Kate, she moved to New York, she changed her life, she doesn't contact anybody, not her mom, not Javier. And throughout the whole movie, Kate, she's like really closed off. But in the beginning of the movie, she was like energetic and stuff and that, but you know, obviously with like 3 deaths and it's kind of your fault, she didn't really try to say that it was her fault. Throughout the movie, her grief, she didn't really like blame herself like that, or she didn't blame anybody. She was just closed off. Like throughout the whole movie, she was shutting away people. So that's why like when Javier was trying to reach out to her and she did not respond, her new occupation is like she's not really teaching kids about tornadoes, but she's in a building where they teach kids about tornadoes. So she is called into an office that someone by the name of Javier wants to see her. And when she goes there, she sees Javier, they hug, they embrace, you know, because it's been 5 years. And then they now go on like, not like a date, but like they go to grab something to drink to catch up. And when they're catching up, Javier said, I've been not calling you, but I've been trying to contact you. And your mom, I went by her house. She said that you don't even call her in 5 years. Like, what's going on? And Kate, you know, she's being closed off, not really trying to respond. And that's kind of her throughout the whole movie. She doesn't really respond and give responses that will let you know who she is. She likes to not lie, but she likes to not tell people who she is. So she kind of did that with Javier in the beginning of the movie, but Javier trying to ask her to help him out on this project, but Kate said, you know, I haven't done this in 5 years, like I don't know. And then so she now like abruptly leaves the the place. The next day, Javier now sends Kate a message saying, we're in Oklahoma, where you're from. Like, this series of tornadoes are just getting more and more rampant. We need you here, you know? And it's really bad. It's affecting the people. But Javier's goals will be later revealed later, but, you know, he wants Kate to help him help the people. Then when Kate, she sees that, she now, decides, I'm going to go back to Oklahoma and help. So she goes back to Oklahoma. We now see, like, the real cast of people. We see on Javier's side, his team is called Storm Vought or Storm V. I'll just say Storm V. They put like panels, like 3 panels around the tornado to grab data. Not really stopping it, but to grab data. The way they do it is more corporate. So we see David Cornsweet, and David Cornsweet throughout the whole movie does not like Kate. It's not really explained why he doesn't like Kate. I'm starting to think that like maybe he's just a misogynist, but they don't really even delve into that. He's more of like a background light antagonist, but not really an antagonist. This movie, the antagonists were tornadoes, but on the human side, most of the characters were mostly ambiguous. We'll now see who I thought at first was the antagonist. That was Tyler Owens, played by Glenn Powell. And I'll say this right now, Glenn Powell, he killed this role in my opinion. He plays the country, like outback, energetic, charismatic, enthusiastic, southerner, so good. When at first he's like a dickhead, you're like, damn, I want to slap this nigga. But when he now opens up and shows you that he's actually a good person, you know, you're like, okay, this guy's chill, he's chill. So we see Tyler Owens, he's like this YouTuber. He like has 1 million views with his team made of Lily, Danny, and some other members. I think Dexter. They all come in with the big truck playing country music out loud. It's intimidating in a way because they're kind of competing with each other. Tyler is trying to go to tornadoes to film it, to see if he can shoot rock into it and do crazy stunts into it, while Javier, his team is more of like gathering data. So as the movie goes on and on and on, we see a lot of tornado scenes. I ain't gonna lie, what I will say, their tornado scenes are actually pretty crazy from beginning to end. Their scenes are pretty insane. The tornadoes are actually intense, as both teams were trying to get tornadoes and all that stuff. Javier's team failed first. Tyler's team took the first tornado. They shot rockets into it and celebrated. And mind you, this whole time, Tyler, he's trying to actually get with Kate, but he's taking it slow. He's just like being cool about it as they meet. Every time he gets closer and closer with her. But like the story kind of like stalls a bit because they kept on like repeating the same thing until we now later see Tyler's team are actually pretty cool people, and they actually sell free food and compensates for Tyler selling his shirts, you know what I mean? So they help out the people, while Javier's team is mostly focused on the numbers. So every time when Tyler's team goes and they go to like a city where it's really messed up, they go and help out, while Javier's team, they don't help out. So it was that point where I was like, okay, I see where they're going with the story. It stalled a bit, but it's starting to pick back up again. So we're seeing that Javier isn't really all he's cracked out to be. And I thought that Javier would be the bad guy of the movie, but later, all the way at the end, like we see Kate, like her character throughout this whole thing, she's still reserved, she's still closed off, she's getting a little bit closer with Tyler, but like she's still not really telling him anything, you know. He asks her where she's from, she lies saying Seattle. He eventually finds out she's from New York, but then this part kind of repeats itself again, you know. We start to see the scenes repeat again, you know what I mean? So then the first culmination of the story was when Tyler asks out Kate, okay, do you want to go out to this place? Let's, you know, watch this rodeo, this bull rodeo. So they go there, they have a good time, you know, they're having fun. Then a tornado comes and the sirens, and it's like nighttime, so it's like random. People didn't know this, they didn't know this, you know, they're supposed to be tornado catchers. And then the tornado comes, it's like destroying everything. I ain't glad this scene was intense. I'll be real honest with you, it was pretty crazy. The tornado was destroying everything, but there's one part of the scene that kind of pissed me off. It was kind of stupid because as they ran into this house they were evacuating people, and then this mom and daughter was with them, so all 4 of them ran into the house. Kate and Tyler and the mom were trying to tell the workers, yo, there's a tornado outside, yo, stop what you're doing, there's a tornado outside. But then the workers are like, oh, like we don't care, there's no tornadoes don't even come. That made no sense because they're still in the same town as the Oklahoma town that has these severe cases cases of tornadoes that are ramping up. So these people, why the hell are they not worried? So eventually it's too late. The tornado now comes, now destroys the place. But thankfully, Kate, Tyler, and the mom and the daughter, they went somewhere, but then somebody else ran with them, some guy. So then they now went under the rodeo stuff, and then the guy that followed them, but there's like a debris, landed almost near him. And then the guy, he was stupid. Tyler was telling him, yo, crawl, crawl. Then the guy, he wasn't trying to crawl, and then he now stood up, then he now got sucked into the wind. So this movie had a lot of deaths, in my opinion, and the tornado scenes are pretty intense. So Kate now sees this, and she's like, okay, Tyler actually really trying to help people. But then Javier comes at the end after the tornado. So she's not asking, wait, where were you? There's a tornado. Why didn't you come try to save people? Javier's like, oh, we needed numbers, you know? So Kate now gets mad at Javier for like, basically, like, you don't help out anybody. You just want numbers. That's what you guys want. That's what Storm V wants. So Kate actually goes and steals Javier's car. I was like, bro, what? Like, stealing his car in this type of situation? But Javier didn't really care because, you know, that's when his emotions were becoming conflicted. That's when he's like, okay, we actually don't help out people. So then the movie ends when there was this big fair that happened. Javier apologized to Kate, and then Kate gave back Javier the car. And in between that, Tyler and Kate were getting closer and closer. Tyler met Kate's mom. Kate finally went back to her mom. So then that caused Tyler and Kate to hang out with each other. But then Kate was still being like, not trying to get closer to Tyler, but I can tell that the story is trying to make her like him. But I don't know, throughout the whole movie, that relationship didn't really progress, because after the climax where there's a big tornado that came to the fair, it was pretty crazy. A lot of people were dying, but the main characters, they didn't really die. Like even Tyler's group, I was surprised that their characters didn't die. But we now see David Cornswell is actually a dickhead because the tornado was being crazy. So then Javier, you know, he ditches David and says, yo bro, like, I gotta help out these people. Like, you know, Kate's right, I gotta help him out. So David's like, we should not care about the people. So Javier leaves David on the road to go help out the people. So then all the main characters were rounding up civilians into a movie theater. Pretty crazy. Some people were flying out. None of the main characters flew out, or the supporting cast flew out, with just background characters. Then we now see Kate, you know, she's learning everything. After she learned everything throughout the whole movie, Tyler was telling Kate, yo, you gotta finish your project. So this now led Kate to drive Tyler's van with the new 6 canisters of whatever the substance is called. And then she now drove into the tornado, and then I think she stopped the tornado, but she almost died in the process. So the movie ends with Kate leaving, Javier learning his mistakes of doing it for money and not for the people. So now Javier trying to be a good guy. The airport scene, I thought Kate was gonna kiss Tyler, but they didn't. They left it ambiguous, and I was like, I ain't gonna lie, like that relationship didn't really grow. It was starting to grow, but then they halted it. They kind of kept Tyler in the friend zone when Tyler was doing a lot for Kate, and Tyler did a lot for Kate. I ain't gonna lie to you. So yeah, the movie is, you know, it was pretty decent. It wasn't bad per se, and it wasn't mid. It wasn't like groundbreaking or anything, you know. And like that's why the reviews 78% Rotten Tomatoes, 7 out of 10 IMDb, 66% Metacritic. Yeah, I share the same sentiment. It wasn't bad, but it didn't like change the game of anything, you know what I mean? It was pretty decent. My favorite part was Tyler Owens, his character. He was very charismatic, you know, it was very entertaining. His scenes where he was doing those live streams were entertaining. But yeah, that's the end of the video, man. Like, I'm out. Peace.